It's going to be a little bit of a storytelling time and a factual one, and how sometimes families can become quite dysfunctional, and other reasons besides women that people leave the United States or otherwise from. And sometimes it does have to do with family and so forth. So I'll tell you a little bit of story here, and it's also to kind of correct some wrongs that were put out there in regards to me and or my family. Now, I wish I had the article here. My uncle just died. Of course, I didn't know about it. It's the same thing. 100 years old, Holmesdale, Pennsylvania. World War II veteran. And if my other phone was charged up, I'd be able to read this article. And he's truly a person who has served in the Army and has seen action. He was in the middle of action and had 6 or 7 different medals. Yeah. So when people think that, well, I'm against the veterans or against the armed services, it's not like that at all. I just don't believe in war and so forth and killing and all that crap. That's just me. I'm not gung-ho about that kind of shit. But my Uncle Tony made it to 100, over 100, and I didn't even know he died. It was the same thing about my brother. You see, when you have and they are dysfunctional. They were dysfunctional, certain members of the family. Yeah, it's true. I don't talk to my daughter and I don't talk to my sister, but for good reason. Let me give you an example of something that's been really taken way out of context here. When my brother passed away, now, first of all, I did not have any neighbors' contact information or anything like that. So the only way I would actually know is by calling over there, and if he didn't answer the phone, something was wrong. I want to straighten this out once and for all, because creeps like Popeye and Nico and people like that, they take things way out of context because they could. Because they could. It's hard to believe now. March is coming, and my brother's passed away a year now. Man, his time is just really going by. It's unbelievable. It's hard to suck this in. It really is. Now, Popeye, who I'm sure is doing a simulcast, I want to straighten your fucking saggy ass up on something, buddy. And whoever else. I had a good relationship with my brother for the most part, and let me tell you something. When you don't have any other resources of communication other than your family member itself, you have no way of knowing what's going on. I want to straighten this shit out once and for all, because these people really piss me off. My brother had passed away on March 8th, 2024. We talk about every couple of days, always. He wasn't answering his phone. Something's wrong. Because, days are going by, weeks going by. We talk all the time. Let's get it straight, Popeye. Get your facts straight before you start pointing your fucking crippled finger. And I'm talking about this for a reason, because I think it needs to be talked about, and how people are so fucking hateful and cruel out there. They'll make insinuations and allegations and so forth upon things that never happened or not happened the way they tell the story. I had no way of knowing other than a remaining family member, which is my sister. Me and my sister, we had our differences, but it wasn't really her. It was her husband who basically controlled her. He didn't like anybody in my family, so he never got along. My family never got along with him. And for good reason. He was a real asshole. And he was very controlling of her. So my brother is dead like 2 weeks. And I don't have the right to know about it. I mean, I look at it this way. Hey, whether we get along or not, me and my sister as example that we're talking about here, at least get a hold of me one way or another and tell me. So for like 2 weeks, I'm trying to find out what's going on with him. It took a Facebook, someone I knew from in Hawaii that wrote me and said, something's wrong. You went over there. I don't see anything going on. I don't see your brother. I don't see this or that. So he thought he'd tell me. That was great that he told me. So it made me really curious. So I called my sister up and I started to tell her that something's wrong because I can't get a hold of Al. Then she interrupted me and said, well, he died on March 8th. Oh, thank you for telling me. She already had his ashes and I didn't even know that he died. This is what I mean about, this is some of the reasons why people just say, fuck this shit, leave the country and get away from something that you don't have. You know, when you got a dysfunctional family, as proven, with at least a couple of family members anyway, you don't need that kind of shit. Not all families are close. Sometimes shit happens in a family. But moving on with the story, she's older than me. It's about 3 years older. He's living over in Pennsylvania. So let me go where I left off here. So I had no freaking clue. I talked to my brother every 2 or 3 days, like clockwork. And no, Popeye, he didn't own the house. I want to straighten some shit out on here. You are really a creep, Robert. You know that? You really are a creep. My brother had no part in that house. He did not own the house. I did not get money from him. I owned the house. He rented from me, period. Just to straighten that out. Asswipe. All right. Besides talking about some pleasantries to Popeye here. Picture this situation. And my brother was close to me. I had no right to know, apparently. No right to know. No right to know. This is my brother, who if I've harbored, took care of, I can't even think how many years. Not just in Hawaii, but in Seattle. I was boarding him and when he was in trouble. It's amazing the things I would do for my family. So I'm not knowing this, and then I call her up and, gave my little spiel while her husband's in the background. What does he want? He's just a fucking guinea that you just, he's somebody that you want to just fucking stomp out. I mean, he's the kind of guy, very controlling of my sister, unfortunately. My sister's not a bad person at all. I love my sister, but she's under his influence, and that's the problem. Then she interrupted me and told me, well, Al died on March 8th. Oh, well, thanks for telling me. That was nice of you. Couldn't you have contacted me somehow or through my daughter or something? Is this insane or what, folks? Insane in the membrane. Yeah, your younger sister's tough to do. See, we all have, this is not the Partridge Family or some shit or Family Ties or whatever. This is reality. Foreigners leave their country for lots of reasons, and it's not, because they want a fresh start. They want to get away from the bullshit. They want to make a fresh start in life, and they just want to, if you've got dysfunctional family members that are very negative, you just don't want to be around them. It's time to just, cut the chains, just buy, you could only do so much for your family, whether it's your daughter or whatever it is. Yeah, my daughter I don't talk to. Doesn't mean I don't love her, but, people change. People have their own little bugaboos in life that they're dealing with. And, you could try to help somebody, but it's all you can do is try to help somebody. Dad, give me advice about something. You give them advice, they don't take it. And they call you again, give me advice, they don't take it. crying on the phone. Excuse me, but I'm giving you advice. This is what I mean about family. Let's talk about family. That's what this is about. And it has to also do why people just say, fuck this. I want to get as far away from my relatives as I can. And I'm sure everybody has a story when it comes to that. As Viking is saying that, he doesn't get along with his family members. Join the club. It's a big club. It's a really big club. Typical Italian family, I can tell you that on the holidays they come over. And there's always some issue coming up on holidays. At dinner time. I can say in Italian families. I think there's a lot of families, not just, There's always some family politics that come up. That's the way things always were. My sister's husband, Mario, he came over there because he figured he had to. Figured get a fucking free meal. Get some lasagna, get some turkey, Thanksgiving or something, And she was a subservient of him, really. But just kind of getting back, and I'm going to straighten Popeye's sick ass though, because he's such a sick fuck. Get the information right. I had no idea that my brother passed away. Would I have liked to have known? Of course. Through my efforts of calling and figuring out something was wrong, someone did write me from Hawaii that knew my brother and had my contact information. Something was wrong. And I figured something had to be wrong. Henceforth, who do I call? My sister. My sister. So she tells me he passed away 2 weeks ago. Thanks for telling me now. Not only did he pass away 2 weeks ago, she already had his fucking ashes. I'm like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me? This is what I mean. Families are not perfect. And everybody has a finger pointing. It must be you then. It must be you. No, it's not me. I was very nurturing to my brother in every way you could possibly think of. I put up with stuff with him that nobody would put up with. Needed a place to live. I gave him a place to live. I went out of my way for my brother. I went way out of my way for my brother, where other people would not do it. I'm not going to go into all the details. It has to do with his past and, I didn't have to have anything to do with him at all, but I did. I'm the one that invited him into Seattle when he was having a hard time in Indiana after breaking up his marriage, and I invited him over. He came to Seattle, lived there the rest of the time, and then when that didn't work out with him, and they didn't have a place to live, and things were going shitty and crazy, I invited him over to Hawaii after I built my house. I've done a lot for people. I've done a hell of a lot. It's so easy for a troll out there to say, oh yeah, you did this or that to your family. Your daughter don't even talk to you. Everybody has issues in some family. There's always a family member somewhere where there are issues. It's universal. Not everybody gets along. Sometimes there are brothers and sisters that don't talk for 50 years. Or it could be a child that they just really don't communicate with, for whatever reason. That's kind of the circumstance with me here. It's not like it's something I did. In fact, I did more for my brother than my sister ever did. She even admitted it to me. He's alive because of you. How much you've helped him. Because I understand you did a lot for him. All right, she at least admits that. The reason I'm talking about family, because I got curious this morning. And another example here. I always tell you about my Uncle Tony, a war veteran, and I'm going to give a story about him. If my other phone was charged, I'm going to tell you what he did in the Army and where he was. Quite, exemplary. I will tell that. Probably on the next show. But, all right. Kept on trying to call Tony. He loves talking to me. He used to talk to my brother all the time. And I would call Tony less than my brother, but I would call him and see what's going on with him, how he's doing. I tried calling him, and nobody. Tony always answers his phone. Always answers his phone. He's very sharp in the mind for his age. Amazing. I think it's absolutely amazing. And then I found out he was in the hospital a couple of weeks back or something or less. So his granddaughter answered. We had a long conversation. I don't know her, but it was really nice talking to her. She got the New York accent, the whole bit. I mean, it was nice talking to an East Coaster, and a related family member of sorts. And we talked for like an hour on there. It got to the point that I had to hang up. She was a good talker. Very friendly. So I'm, trying to call Tony. Nobody's answering. So about a week ago or more, I called. She did answer. It was 7 in the morning. I don't know if I woke her up or what the hell. She goes, "What do you want?" I'm like, "What the fuck? What do I want?" I mean, I don't know this gal from shit. I just know that it's my uncle's granddaughter. Good talker, though. She really nice. Or maybe she's upset because she was like a caretaker. Because my uncle's own daughter's never home. Her and her husband were always out fishing on a boat. They're never home to take care of him, really. So who's there? It's this woman taking care of him. Very friendly to talk to. No quarrels with this person. I never even know her. Never even know she existed, to tell you the truth. But I had a really great conversation with her about my uncle. And I called. She goes, "What the fuck do you want?" I'm like, "What the fuck is that all about?" This is what I'm talking about here. Family dynamics, really. Let's just call it that. Family dynamics. And we all have some family dynamics. Almost everybody has somebody in the family or something. Some quirk or some bizarro world situation. And that's basically what happened. I had to, out of curiosity, I called the number again and the phone's been disconnected. His phone, his own it was probably a regular phone. He doesn't get on cell phones. And I was disconnected, well, because he died. You think they bothered to I mean, I gave his granddaughter my email information. I said, if something happens with Tony, let me know. She says, "Yeah, sure." Same fucking thing. Same fucking thing. Like I had no right to know. I talk to Tony all the time. Maybe I'd want to know. This is what I'm talking about. Family dynamics. So I had to go look up on Google his name, war veteran, Honesdale, Pennsylvania. And there's an article about him. And I wish I could read it. I don't have it in front of me, but if I had, I would. Just like my father was in the Navy, he was in the Army, and he fought in the Aleutians. Well, he was in the Aleutians, he was a medic. He was in the middle of action, not like fucking Popeye, swapping decks or becoming a security guard. This guy was in the middle of shit, freezing his ass, originally in the Alaska region, although he's been in the Philippines too, in actuality. I want to see somehow if this has enough charge on it in this other phone. Maybe I could find this article, but while I'm doing that, let me just continue with my story here. Watch out what you say about people on here, Popeye, because you did not have an illustrious life or career, okay? It's easy for you to point your accusing finger at me or anybody else. You did not have an illustrious career in the services. That's for fucking sure. But my uncle did. My uncle did. And let me see if I could get this going here. Anyway, while I'm actually looking something up here. So, people come up to their own conclusions. Oh, you didn't care for your brother. Oh, God, what a statement that is. I'm probably the only one that did. Despite differences people might have, you always find a way to be in their lives, and you could try. And if somebody doesn't want to be in your life and they're having their own fucking problems, you don't want to become part of the problem. You want to become part of the solution. The first question is like, what is your problem? Life ain't treating you good. Okay, sorry about that. I think I could probably bring this up here. Let me, Anthony Battaglia, veteran. Anthony Battaglia, Pennsylvania war veteran, passes away. Let's see if I can find this article. While I'm actually looking for this, because it's interesting to read. I want to tell you what he did. And, a lot of this information I never even really knew, Never really knew. But let me just kind of move on a little bit. Honesdale. Okay, hold on. Let me just punch this in by hand. Just bear with me for a second. Okay, the Tri-County Independent. Oh, come on now. Log in for what? Where's this fucking shit? Battlefield Medic. Okay, I'm going to show you something here. This is my Uncle Tony. And I want to read you this story. Just after a few days after turning 100, Tony Battaglia shared the recollections of a U.S. Army medic serving in the embattled Aleutian Islands during World War II. It was a long time ago, the Honesdale resident said, freely recalling that time 80 years past. PFC Battaglia was born on June 12, 1924 in Mount Vernon, New York, to Italian immigrants, Antonio and Carmelia Battaglia, who didn't speak English. They raised 4 children and 3 sons. His brother Frank, that's my dad, served in the United States Navy in the war, also making it home alive. Battaglia was working on submarines as a welder at an electric boat in Groton, Connecticut. He returned home and enlisted in October 21st, 1943 in the Army. He was in the 145th Infantry. He trained at Camp Grant, Illinois for 13 weeks with the Army Medical Service. I passed all my tests, he said. They didn't know where they were headed next. We were wondering when we were in the barracks, what clothes are they going to issue us, he said. If they issued us summer clothes, well, we'd be going to the South Pacific. We found we were going to the Aleutians. We wanted to go to the oven, but went to the icebox, he joked. The Aleutians campaign lasted from June 3, 1942 through August 15, 1943. It was the only U.S. military campaign in North America's soil during the war. Thousands of American soldiers fought against the Japanese forces and had invaded the Aleutian Islands off the coast of Alaska, which then was an American territory. Battaglia served in Kiska and Attu Islands in the far western end of the island chain. They arrived in the thick of war when their boats landed. When I landed there, he said, they said my part of the island, Attu, was 80% secure. We could still hear the fighting from up in the mountains. We had the bomb squad discharging all the bombs that were left there as booby traps. We had to lay down in the ditch behind the snowbank, the veteran said. They were shooting from the mountains. We didn't have the cannons to get them out of there, but the ship carrying their artillery came too late. We landed at night, too. It was winter. It was cold. Battaglia recalled some of the Japanese soldiers donned uniforms of American GIs their forces had killed. They snuck into their camp and they merged with the Japanese American soldiers at chow time. They ate their supper and took off for the hills again for after supper. Eventually, they got caught when a Japanese soldier inadvertently spoke to a Japanese American soldier. My job was to take care of the wounded. I was a medical technician, Battaglia said. I didn't carry a gun. I carried medical equipment on both sides. I took care of the wounded that I could. Other armed soldiers accompanied him, and the other two medics, they traveled in an ambulance. If anybody got hurt, I was the one that had to patch them up. If anyone was hurt serious, they were shipped in Anchorage, which was not very far. It was the main hospital. He served duty in failed hospitals, giving the wounded intravenous fluid and shots. We came under fire all the time. The Red Cross on our arm didn't mean a thing. If you were an American, boom, 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 he said, making his hand like a gun as he spoke. He said they treated the soldiers right on the battlefield. And if the American soldier was dead, you wrapped him up in a body bag and you left him there with his dog tags on, so the next group could come back and then take him away, he said. You couldn't stay in one spot. You had to keep moving because they, the Japanese army, were all over. They had the advantage on us. They were shooting from mountains with cannons. Battaglia continued. We were shooting up at them at the mountain. You could see them. You couldn't see them unless you saw the smoke from the fire. Plenty of American soldiers got killed, he said. You got hand grenades thrown at you. You got bombs falling on you. You had no protection because they had the advantage. I do remember a lot of Americans dying. I happened to be one of the lucky ones. A lot of memories, but I was a soldier. I had lots of friends, he said, including a soldier who was a neighbor from Mount Vernon who he had found had been killed. After the war, Battaglia went to see his neighbor's father, who wanted to know the details of what happened. He and the other soldiers, including his neighbor, had dug under the snow and a rock ledge to sleep. The Japanese bombed them, and Battaglia was the only one who survived the attack, being protected by the crevice. One day their ambulance hit a Japanese mine. Battaglia was injured. The aged vet rolled up his pant leg to show the scar. His face was cut from glass. Other medics rescued him. The Japanese poisoned the farmland. He picked and ate a poisoned cucumber, making him gravely sick. He was in the hospital in Anchorage for 2 weeks. Ever since, he shuns cucumbers. Afterwards, he was transferred out of the icebox to the oven, serving as a medic in the Philippines. How about that? The Japanese surrendered while he was there. His company found American prisoners of war in cages and liberated them. They were happy memories too, he said. United Service Organization shows came to Alaska with comedians like movie stars including Bob Hope, Jerry Colonna, and the Marx Brothers and Jimmy Durante, and who Battaglia sat next to. He was discharged Christmas Day of 1945 at Fort Dix, New Jersey. He had a big welcome when he arrived home to Mount Vernon. My mother didn't hear from in 2 years. I was in a place where you just couldn't get mail out right away, he said. Teary-eyed, Battaglia recalled his mother's joy when he was able to return. Those are his medals. This is Tony, around 100. Those are his medals. For his service, Battaglia received the American Service Medal, the Asian Pacific Service Medal, the Good Conduct Medal, World War II Victory Medal, and the Purple Heart. Anyway, that's the story on that. That's the story on that. So when Popeye puts shit out like, you know, I'm so against the military. I told you I have family members, my father, my uncle. I had other people that were in the service. I also had on my father's side police detectives, police officers, police captains, all some kind of, you know, service-related people. Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of this stuff, I only learned it from actually talking to my uncle when he told me stories, but this gave me more of a complete picture of him that I didn't know. Get to know somebody in your family, you'd be surprised at what they've done. Yeah, he was in some crazy situations that history doesn't talk a lot about the Alaska campaign. No, my uncle wasn't swabbing the deck in the Navy or something and becoming a security officer or something, you know. He's even welded on submarines. He welded submarines too. He did a lot of different things. I'm saying this because I want to pay homage to my uncle. At the same time, to know I got some good family members, but you can't expect always to have other family members that are exactly people that you want to be around for any length of time. There's always some issue in some family somewhere along the line. I mean, this guy saw action. He saw death all around him. Own ambulance crashed into some Japanese vehicle or something. There was some discharge, and he got shrapnel in his leg, and he's seen a lot of deaths. Had to wrap up dead bodies, do what he can to them, give them intravenous or whatever he could. He's seen his friends die around him. That's a person who served and saw action. Not someone like fucking Popeye who the only action he's seen was in fucking Subic Bay around a round table getting his dick sucked under the table by some fucking whore. Hold on a second here. Yeah, Tony's a good man. Always liked Tony. Too bad his son had died. His son died, another Tony, Anthony, died before him, actually. Of a embolism in the brain or something, a heart, I don't know. He's on an elevator. It's terrible. His son died. You know, you don't want to outlive your children, you know, but that sometimes happens too. I just want to straighten some shit out because I felt it was not necessary, and I really don't feel I have to explain myself all the time. But sometimes I get in that mood, and I want to make a few things very clear before you start labeling me as one thing or another. I've always been good with my family. People change. I had a loving relationship with my daughter. I absolutely did. Nico claims about, yeah, I took care of my kids on my own when they were 2 to 3 years old, for 3 years. I took care of my daughter, Nico, I took care of my daughter from when she was born. And from when I got divorced and she was 5 years old, it was me. Nico, I raised my daughter. I wasn't into drugs and alcohol like you were. I raised my daughter. Never mind 2 or 3 years. I raised her from 5 all the way from when she left on her own, spread her wings around 19 or 20 years old. I raised her. I was mother and father to her. Both. You can't make that statement, Nico. Now, all of a sudden, Nico is the exemplary father to his children. Where were you back then, Nico, when you were fucking around, that you admitted, and you were into your little drug scene and drinking and everything? Apparently, you're still drinking. That hasn't stopped. How dare you make any kind of statements of some sort? And the most lame, childish statement that Nico would make is one of them recently, and I've heard it before. Well, my mother's still alive. Your mother's dead. How old is this guy? 50-ish? I have my mother. You don't have a mother. This is a grown-ass man. You would think he would be. A grown-ass man making a statement like that? Oh, and I got my kids in my life. Well, I only have one kid, first of all, that I know about anyway. I've only got one kid. There might be somebody out there I don't know about, but to my knowledge, I've only got one kid. Okay. And I loved her to death, raising her. I took the job, which Nico wouldn't be able to do. I took the job of both mother and father to her. I had to answer some embarrassing questions that a growing girl would ask because she didn't really have the woman influence. That was hard. I changed her diapers when she was a baby. I didn't leave it all on the mother. Alternate nights, I would let the mother sleep, and I would get up and change my daughter's diapers and warm up the formula and give it to her to give her a rest, to give my wife a rest. Yeah, I did that. I was in my daughter's life all the time, and I was very protective of her. I'm glad I was. She seemed to think that was kind of a problem, being protective, but that's something I'm never going to deny and I'm never going to regret. She didn't grow up to be a drug addict or an alcoholic or anything like some people. Yeah. I was in my daughter's life from day one. The fact that we have differences, well, duh, families sometimes do. But when Nico makes these lame, very immature statements, well, I have my mother. Your mother's dead. I have a mother. Well, where's your father? He don't seem to want to be in your life. What's that all about? My mother and father have passed away. What about it, Nico? He's got a problem with that or something. He's got it. How old? This guy's like 50 years old or so. Or what is he? I don't know what the fuck he is. He's certainly in his 50s or something. At least. That's really immature. Well, my mother's alive. Yours is dead. That's something you hear from a child. A child. Who would say something like that? He does. So to get the facts straight, who's wearing the black hat and who's wearing the righteous white hat? Get your facts straight. When it comes to my brother, I was always in his life where other people would not have been. Would not have put up with some of the shit he did. I grew up straight. I wasn't a drinker. I smoked. I didn't get into street drugs like he did. He made a wrong turn in his life. It fucked up his life and it's fucked up his health. You could give people advice. As you know, I'm a great advice giver. But not everybody adheres to your advice. You can't force people to do things that they don't want to do. What can you do? Just be supportive of them as much as you can. Still give them advice, and maybe something they'll take of your advice, but you can't force anybody to take your advice. You can't. I can't force my daughter to be in my life. I don't honestly know all her issues. I know she's had a lot of issues with relationships and bad choices. And she had psychologically a few bugaboos going on with her. I won't get into, but, not everybody is pure of heart and brain, let's put it that way. Nobody is perfect, including myself. Nobody is perfect. But Popeye likes to paint the picture, and Nico and people that says, like, I'm the bad guy. Well, according to you, because you don't like me. You're not going to say anything good about me. You don't have any idea what I've done for my brother. You could do could be a TV movie special if you would have seen what I've done for my brother. Against all odds and all efforts. One brother's love for the other, despite circumstantial situations with that brother that you never brought upon, but you still was there in their life. I want to get this straight. Once and fucking for all. So when they make these statements, why is my brother's name different than yours? My brother's name different than mine? What do you mean his name was Al, or for Alfred. My name's Frank. Yeah, he got a different name. That's a crazy question. I don't know where that came up. You don't know the adventures I went through with my brother. From New York, believe me, to Seattle, to Hawaii, you have no clue at all. You have to been there, lived it, experienced it. There were days of joy, doing great things together. There were days where I just didn't want to even open my door to be near him. I mean, we had our ups and downs for sure, but I was always there for him. My last name? What are you smoking, dude? Of course we have the same last name. Why wouldn't we have the same last name? I don't know where that came up. You're smoking something, dude. I don't know. Who said he had a different last name than mine? Did I say that? Okay, no problem. And the same thing like with my daughter. My daughter. I was always there for her. I don't mind talking about this because I just want to get it out of my head. And because I just found out that my uncle died. Pretty good family history, though. This guy was a real war veteran. He didn't just serve in the fucking Navy or some office like that. He was out in the middle of the action, and he was doing a real service. Unlike fucking Popeye, who really gives us a whole lot of hyperbole about his function in the service. What I read you on my uncle was quite exemplary, I think. Popeye earn any fucking medals? Where are they? Best janitor on the ship? Best guy to hang out around the round table of the whore bars? Seriously, man. Kind of interesting, huh? That's my uncle. And as I said, this is how dysfunctional people can be. Oh, but it must be Frank, though. Everything's got to be me, right? No. I needed to know if my brother died or not, and I needed to know if my uncle died. Their family couldn't even tell me. I had to call up and find that his phone was disconnected because he died. It's a similar situation. There was no friction with my uncle's family. There was nothing like that. Like, I didn't have the right to know. And I told her, which is his granddaughter, if something, well, let me know. Tony was in the hospital. He had to have more of his intestine removed, and it was touch and go. He said to them, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. You know, he wasn't ready to die. But he made it to 100, which is quite exemplary. It really is. Over 100. His birthday, 101, would have been in coming July. He was a town hero, actually, in Pennsylvania, where he lived. Everybody knew him. Everybody knew him. Big thing in the newspapers all over there. They all knew Tony. So I got some good family history, you know. And my dad was in the Navy. He got to go a few places, but he wasn't in the Navy too long. He came home alive, like my uncle did. In fact, I wouldn't be here. It was actually his troop that he was in the Navy that landed in, where the hell was it? Okay, hold on. What do you call those marine vessels? I'm not, much into military. Gates pulled down, you land on a beach, the beach vessels, ramp goes down, and here you go out. He wasn't with them. But I think what happened at the time, I think he had a hernia operation or something at the time. He wasn't with them. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. And he'd be dead. They all died. They all died. So my dad got really lucky on that. And to straighten out something else too, Robert Clausen, who likes to throw a lot of shitty words out about people. I was not a draft dodger. And he labeled me a lot of things. Popeye labeled me a lot of things. I was no draft dodger at all. You see how people put shit out there about people that have nothing to do with the truth? They just don't like you, and they figure, let me say some bad, let me make up things about you. Oh, a little boy sat on my lap. You know about the song thing that they're always talking about? No child was sitting on my lap, just to get that straight. All right, off that. But that's Popeye's thing. He'll flower up a situation, and add bullshit details to a story. My dad got lucky on that. He got lucky on that. So yes, there is military of sorts in the family. There's a lot of police in the family. So it's not like I haven't had any family members that were in some kind of enforcement or service. I definitely did. Oh, getting back to the draft dodger shit. He calls me a draft dodger. Where was I a draft dodger, Robert? How was I a draft dodger? I had a bad ear. Very apparent to people, and they know that about me. They could not take me in. Yes, I was in college, but I didn't go to college to avoid the draft, idiot. But it wouldn't have mattered anyway, because they would not have taken me into service with bad hearing. It just was not going to happen. Just to straighten that part out. Wouldn't have gone anyway. I got my own values. I was not going to go to a fucking war that we shouldn't have been fighting, period. I probably would have took off to Canada or something. I probably would. But nobody was dodging the draft. I didn't go to college to dodge the draft, Robert. Being the information that you've been putting out on your show. Well, you are one hateful motherfucker, aren't you? And you did not have an illustrious career in the Navy. Stop exemplifying that. You absolutely have not. Your glory days was probably a fucking glory hole. Your glory days was sitting around a table in Subic Bay getting your dick sucked by the whores. That's what you did, Popeye. You told the story. We all heard it. Those were your glory days. My uncle, as you just seen, he performed a good service. Now, don't get me wrong. You don't have to see action to give a service in the military. Yes, you could be a pencil pusher. You could be in admin. Everything comes together to make something work. It takes these office jobs. It takes all that paperwork and so forth. You got communication officers. You got all that stuff that all serve a purpose. But don't over-exemplify what you did in the Navy. You didn't do shit. My uncle could sit there, and by the way, that was very privileged information that I read you. It gave a first-hand account of when he was in the Aleutian Islands and what was going on as a medic. That's a great story to tell on here, and that's why I told it. What was going on around him, what he did as a medic, what he experienced, what he's seen, what was going on with the Japanese up in the mountains. That's a privileged story coming from somebody, and there's not many World War II survivors around anymore. And this story was shared not too long ago, before he died. You don't hear too many stories like that, because most of the veterans are dead. That was a privileged story for me to share with you. And I knew a lot about some of it, but not everything about it, Tony would talk about a few things, but I didn't know all the details of everything he did. He did serve also in the Philippines. He had spent some time in the Philippines. He was out here too. So he's been around. He's experienced some stuff. He even had shrapnel in him. What was it? 6 different medals he got. You got any medals, Popeye? Medals for being a fucking loser? Medals for being a fucking potty mouth? I give you a medal on that one. I'll make one up. I know your address. I'll make a medal and send you it for the biggest potty mouth on YouTube. Now, getting back to the basic topic. Not all family members get along. That's just a fact. And you don't make an assumption that it's something that you did. To have these families detract from you in some way or whatever. Everybody has their own psychology, so to speak. I can't control what people think. I don't have that ability. You can offer advice to people and they either take it or they don't. That goes even on my YouTube channel. I can give advice about various things. People don't take it, they don't take it. They're not forced to take it. Just like you cannot force a family member to be perfect. You cannot force a family member to think as you think, act as you think, reason as you think or can reason. You can't force anybody to do that. I've done nothing but good for my family members. But you can't always expect something that's going to be reciprocal. That's just a fact. A lot of people have family members that they don't get along with for whatever reason it might be. Political view, social view, whatever. Family problems, family disagreements, whatever it might be. That's just the way it is. I can say that I've always been there for my family, no matter what. As things work out, where you lose some of your family by death or by disagreements, sometimes you could gain a family, and I did. I did gain a family, and it's right here in the Philippines. What you lost in some family members, you've gained elsewhere. And they don't have to be blood, Barry, you idiot, to be family. He doesn't understand the concept of family. My dogs are my family. They're not even human. They're canine. They're my family. They don't have my blood. Family is family. And you don't even have to be related for somebody to be your family. You could have a good buddy that you don't know your life. They're family. So I've had some losses in 2024. 2024 is not my best year. One of my oldest friends, Larry, in New York, passed away about, 6 months ago. How long it's been. Known him since I was 5 years old. Talked to him religiously all these years. Lost my brother. Even his dog, Rowdy, that I love to death. Lost my Uncle Tony now. My mother and father have been long gone. But Nico thinks that's a joke. Immature bastard that he is. I have my mother right here. Your mother's dead. Ha ha ha. Nico, that's why you don't have a fucking woman, man. Who the fuck would want to be with you? You have a very bad, piss-poor attitude toward women. We've heard you. We've heard all your banter about women. And all they are to you is a piece of ass. When you could get it, that is, which is not very often. No, he'd rather make love to a blade of grass. Talk about sick people out there. And they're talking about me, huh? Really, examine yourself first before you make any statement about anybody else, on or off YouTube. These people are born fucking losers. I wasn't a drug addict like Nico was in his past. I never touched any illegal drugs, street drugs. I wasn't a fucking alcoholic. I don't touch alcohol. Only alcohol I use is on my hands as a hand sanitizer. That's the only thing that puts me in touch with any kind of alcohol at all. I don't hang around people who drink. I despise being around people who drink. It's not my thing. Their behavior when they drink, how their personalities change, how they get rowdy, how they get to be like a real asshole when they're drinking. I don't hang around seedy bars like a lot of these expats do here in the Philippines. I don't go near them, unless it's a restaurant that happens to have a bar in it. I don't hang around in these seedy, smelly bars. That's not my thing. I did not move to the Philippines to hang around in a seedy bar. That's not my thing. And it never will be. I don't like being around drunk people. I just don't. I had a lot of experience of being around drunk people. How many times I've been in a bar, guys talking, please, give me a break. Get out of here. I'm out of here. That's not my element. It might be your element. It's not my element. You don't catch me in a fucking bar. Oh, let's discuss something too. Let's discuss something too to get that straightened out. Oh, the big story that Frank spent 23,000 pesos in a Manila bar, a girly club. Let me get that straightened out too. I had a 6-hour flight, waiting period in Manila when I was returning back to the Philippines. 6 hours. I couldn't even find a place to store my bags. I had several heavy bags. They normally have a place upstairs, a private place. You pay them a couple of bucks, they store it for you. So I'm waiting around there. So what the fuck am I going to do for 6 hours? And you know about Manila. This is at night too. There were no agents at their desk at that time, unless there was going to be a flight coming up. And that's the only time they'd show up at their desk, so you could check in your bags and whatever you had to do. I had 6 hours of time to wait. And you know how Manila is. There's always a long wait in Manila. I think everybody knows that. Some goober came along, kept on trying to say, making small conversation stuff. Oh man, you got 6 hours. Why don't you come to the nearby bar or something, have a beer or something, Instead of hanging around, he goes, I don't know, I don't think so. I'll hang around here. Then he convinced me, we went over there, and I didn't know, I thought we were going to some little joint to have a beer or something, which I would have probably had a ginger ale or something. And we go to this place, has these big double doors, I don't remember what the name of it was, just to get this story straight once and for all. Guy comes out, takes my bags and everything. Wow, service. I said, what is this place, man? It was a setup, is what it was. This guy hung around the airports and tried to get suckers like me to go to this establishment if you were white and they figured you had money. That's what happened. So I went in there, and I didn't have any relationships going at the time. It happened after I actually got into Cebu. I wound up meeting somebody I'm still with now, but so I go into this place. I know you like my storytelling here. I said, what the fuck is this? It's a fucking titty bar. Well, I had no attachments or anything else. I didn't know what was going to happen later on, but I did not understand the concept of bar fines. I didn't. I told you, I didn't hang around bars. I was never picking up women in bars. It's not something I did. Did I know anybody who worked at a bar? Sure, I did. I used to have a friend, Kathleen, and she was a manager of a place in Cebu. I went to visit. That's when she showed a picture of me and the bartender, a manager actually, and you also saw a picture of Joy in there. I simply went in there to say hello to Kathleen. Oh, Catherine, actually. That's all it was. They got that picture they shared around. So I'm in this place. Oh, they got a couch in there and chairs. You sit down. There's all these naked chicks on stage, and they got totally naked. I said, what the fuck is this? I thought we were going out to have a beer or something to the guy. He hung around for a while, but he was like the mole. This was a setup is what it was. All right, then two girls come and sit down next. I'm getting this story out because I want to. Two girls come and sit down near me. They weren't even that great looking, really. And, I had 6 hours to, it was less than that at that point. I figure, what the hell? I wasn't in a relationship. I was there. A place to rest my ass. I had a good time. And I had a good time. I already maybe had a beer, which I don't normally drink. I had a beer. The girls had a drink each. Guy comes up to me, he's massaging my neck. I said, what the fuck? What kind of a place is this? No, really, I did not understand bar fines in the Philippines at that time. I had no idea. As I said, I don't hang around bars and I don't take women out of bars as Ricky or somebody would do. That's not me. Just to get the story straight here. So I'm in there, I'm relaxing, I had a good time. And it was very purposeful they tried to keep me. I kept saying, I think I better go back to the airport and wait a while. So the manager of the place, he conveniently can't find him because he's the one to sign off on the bill, for the drinks, whatever, and all that, right? So he comes back initially one time, and I see, what the hell is this all about? There was a figure on there, I don't know, 6,000 pesos or something. Okay, well, whatever. Whatever it was, I don't remember what it was. Then I'm ready to really start to go, okay, well, where did the manager go? I don't know where the manager is. This was purposeful. Because he's the only one there at the time that would sign off on the receipt, pay the bill. He purposely went in the back room somewhere to keep me there for as long as you're there, you're paying time for those girls. And if you're not familiar, I am now, with bar fines, the time you spend with them, it adds up. So, what's 23,000 pesos? Yeah. He comes back with a bill, because I had to get out of there and get back to the airport. Fun was fun, and I had a good time. I actually did. I have no regrets on it. I had a good time. I was not tied to anybody, sowing my oats. I had a good time. I never took anybody home or anything like that. That never happened. I'm sitting there with these chicks, and I had a good time. Killing time from the airport. Nothing wrong with that. There was a couple of good-looking chicks that were on stage, too. And a few that weren't. So he comes up to me, finally arrives, because his mole, the one that kind of got me into there, even got a drink from me, too. Plus how much he gets from the manager of the place for bringing me in. All the scam. So he gives me a bill of 23,000 pesos, which, wasn't a lot of money, but I didn't expect to be that much. I mean, how much could the drinks cost? And I told you, I was very naive about how this shit works. I did not hang around bars. Understand it. I had no clue. I was a greenhorn pretty much at the time. I had no clue what bar fines were. I never even heard the word bar fines. Not even in America, I haven't heard that words. But I had a good time. But then he comes with this bill. 23,000 pesos. I said, what is this? That's your time for being here. My time for being here? I'm like, huh? Let me tell you something. It was a good thing that I had money in my wallet. Because I had my belongings with me that we had on the side. My camera equipment was in there, whatever. My other belongings. Because they would have took that from me. It was a good thing I had cash. Good thing I had cash in my wallet. Because the fact is, if I didn't pay that, they would have took me in the alleyway or something. They would have robbed me or whatever. Let's say I got lucky. Sure, I got fucking scammed. really, is what it was. But did I have a good time? Yeah, I did. Single man. What the fuck? That was like my welcoming back into the Philippines. Because the last time I had made a trip was a while back at the time. And what a great welcoming. Go look at some good-looking Filipinos on stage. I mean, hey, had no ties. Fun is fun. But it was time to go back to the airport. Then I see that bill. And I almost started to get argued with him, but then I knew he had one of his little bouncers behind him. And if I would have refused to pay that 23,000 pesos, it could have been some big-ass trouble. And I just was getting there. I didn't need any trouble. I needed to get to my flight. I didn't need some kind of a hassle. That's why I hate Manila. It's just a dumpy place. God, so many seedy places over there. A lot more than Cebu. It's a scam. They get people from the airport. Greenhorns. Don't know what the fuck they're doing. Yeah, why don't you spend some time at this place? Yeah, get out, have a beer with me or something, or whatever. Yeah, okay. Guy even had a car waiting. How naive could I possibly be? I guess I was. Yeah, live and learn, Anthony says. You got off cheap. Yeah, I did get off cheap. 23,000 was nothing. I had plenty of money with me. It wasn't like it was a big loss. But I had a good time. I never said I didn't have a good time while I was in there. I was single, man. No problem. Did I want to spend 23,000 pesos? No. That's equal to like maybe a month or a little bit less of a month's stay. And I was staying there for a month. It could have been put toward the condo expenses or something, or entertainment. Well, it was entertainment. Okay, it was entertainment, whatever. It still was. But no, I had no idea that was going to happen. Just to straighten it out there, Robert, who tells these tall tales. That's all it was. It was 23,000 pesos, whatever that is in, dollars, $400. I don't know what the hell it was, but yeah, it's around there, 380, 400. I had plenty of money with me, that wasn't a problem, but I didn't appreciate getting scammed like that. I really didn't. Because by the time I got to my condo room, and I met up very briefly with some woman that I used to see when I visited. And I was telling her my story, and I was in a bad mood. But I got ripped off for 23,000 pesos. Was it worth 23,000 for the few hours I spent there? I wouldn't say it was worth 23,000. No, not at all. But shit happens. You live with it, you learn. That's how you learn about the Philippines, by experiencing things firsthand. That's how you learn. Not everything goes your way all the time. That's for goddamn sure. Didn't go my way that time. But if you asked me if I had a good time there, I would absolutely tell you I did. So what's the problem if I had a good time? I didn't want to spend that much, grant you, but I did. Overstory on that. But basically we're talking about family dynamics on here. Family dynamics. Not all of us get along with family members. There's always a rhyme and reason why something happens. You can't control everything in your life. You can't. You don't have that kind of control all the time. What it is, if a family member doesn't want to contact you for whatever reason, that's their prerogative. What are you going to do? What are you going to do about it? You could only make an effort to try to remedy a problem. But when you know what the hell, don't even know what the problem is, other than perhaps their psychology, I mean, what do you say? What do? You leave them be. They don't want to be bothered. They don't want to be bothered. I look at it this way. As far as my daughter, I did my job. I raised her. I was there for her when she was born. In fact, the same day she was born, it was the day that's what started some of the problems. The fact that I was going to live in Hawaii. I had the land, the house was being built. The same day I was leaving is the day she gave birth, and I was there when she gave birth. Then I had to run out of there because to the apartment I was staying at the time, temporary place, before I left for Hawaii. And the van was waiting for me there. I had my dog carrier on there. The dog didn't know what the fuck was going on. I had to leave my apartment at the time and leave a bunch of shit in there I just gave to the neighbors. I didn't have time to clean up. I contacted the landlord. I told him what was happening. I'm going to give it to the neighbors. My apologies. I didn't have time to, clean up because I was over there with my daughter when she gave birth to her first child. I was able to hold that child in my arms. I got photographs. I was very happy I was able to do that and be there for the birth of her first child. And then life went on. People have differences. People are into different politics. Some are more liberal than others. If you live in Seattle, oh, Jesus Christ. She was a Seattleite, period. It's a certain state of mind. She might have been my daughter. I was a New Yorker. She was a Seattleite, a Washingtonian. Well, I guess I was too. After living here for 26 years, I could say I'm a Washingtonian. That's a long time to live somewhere. But my roots go back to New York. But I really never developed her, how shall I say, state of mind. She was born there, okay? She's a Washingtonian. She was born there. And to live in the Seattle area, you'd have to live there to understand how people think. They were all different groups of people. They were all divided. You had your Starbucks group. You had the yuppie groups, well, which is Starbucks groups. You had to belong to something to fit in. And I wasn't part of the cattle. I say that all the time. I was not part of the cattle. I did not go along with Seattle trends. I was not into grunge music. I was not, I did not follow the pattern of the typical Seattleite who's lived there a long time or was born there. I followed my own path, not everybody else's. Tony, I was 17 years old in a bar in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and got talked into buying a bottle of champagne for a bar girl. Well, they'll easily talk you into that. Nah, bars is not my thing. I used to go in Seattle. Like I said, I had a group of people I used to kind of hang with every now and then on weekends or every other weekend. And I was raising my daughter on my own. Something Popeye couldn't do. I raised her on, or Nico couldn't do. I was raising my daughter on my own. And therefore, I really didn't hang out in the bars. I was lucky if it'd be the next weekend or the other weekend, we'd get together. And of course, it was a music place. It was a bar and served food. And they had live music is why I went there, And we used to go there to listen to live music and all that stuff and kick your heels every now and then if you felt like. And of course, to meet the chicks too, of course. And I met a few. I definitely have. Um, but I wasn't. I was never a bar guy. And my friends always said, "Come on, try to push drinks on me all the time." I said no. But I would give in now and then. I'd have a couple of Budweisers or sometimes a Heineken, maybe chase with a rum and coke or something at the time. But I just wasn't a drinker. They were always trying to push me. Well, loosen up, Frank. You got to loosen up. I could enjoy myself without being drunk. I don't have to be drunk to enjoy myself. That's where I differed from them. But they figured I'd be less shy than I was and I'd be more uninhibited if I drank. And it was true. But I told you, I was never a guy that go table to table trying to get a rap with some chick or something. I wasn't like that. But there was occasions where I'd catch the eye of a female that would be there and to know that she really had interest in me. Then that was fine. I was actually shy until I got to know somebody. I'm still shy, believe it or not. I'm still shy. You wouldn't think I'm shy, but I am actually shy in my own way. Some things don't change. Um, and that's the way I would meet him. A little better way than just going table to table. Hey, you want to dance? That wasn't me, man. And when I did dance with a chick, I'd always wanted to be when the crowd was up there. I didn't want to be in the limelight. I never wanted to be in the limelight. I wanted to just blend in. I didn't dance really bad, not really bad at all. But a lot of the music sometimes I didn't like. It was like playing a lot of disco music and shit, which I just totally wasn't into disco music. But it's dance music. But yeah, I've gotten up on the dance floor and I've danced and had a good time. And the only time I could ever remember where I did drink a lot of beer, I'd met this chick in Seattle over in Fremont area and went to a Halloween party. And holy shit, I was there all night, and I was with her. She stayed with me the whole night there. I just wore a little hat or something on there. I didn't get all dressed up and shit. And they had a kegs there and all that. And the beer was flowing down like it was water. And I couldn't believe even for myself. I was dancing with this chick practically all night, constant dancing. That's the only time I could really think that I was really out of my element and really let loose. Really let loose. But after that, not really. Of course, I went to bed with her that night, but what the hell? I was a free single man. Fun is fun. Mr. 140. Ricky is live and he was talking about a bunch of crap about Shaw's case and you. Oh, well. And what do you have to say? I can't do two things at once here, so I'm not talking about that shit on here. I'm just giving you guys a little story about family dynamics and so forth. And talking about my uncle who I just found out passed away. And it's the same thing. Like people say, you didn't even know your brother was dead? No, I did not know my brother died at the time. Had no way of knowing. Unless a neighbor or somebody had my contact information. How many thousand miles am I away? I'm in the Philippines. How would I know if he passed away unless somebody told me? And my sister didn't go out of her way, so how was I supposed to know? I don't know if my daughter knew. I'm sure she would at least contact me by email or something. She probably didn't know herself. So to answer that question on that, I answered it. End of story on that one. It's family. It's people that have a lot of dysfunction. Of course, you have the right to know if a family member died. My uncle just died. And I just found out on my own the same goddamn thing. It was only a matter of weeks ago, a couple of weeks ago, same fucking thing. That I had talked to his granddaughter on the phone and she did tell me that my uncle was in the hospital and had to have some procedures and take some more of his intestine out. He had always bad problems with that, besides everything else going on with him. I didn't know. Anyway, I talked to her on the phone. It was a great conversation. Then after time went by, the same thing with my brother. The same goddamn thing with my brother happened. Because I told that chick, which is my uncle's, that would be what? Granddaughter. That would be his granddaughter. Great conversation. I said, here, do me a favor. Contact me if something ever happens to Tony. You got my number, and here's my email address. Right? No, they didn't tell me. And I go to call because I haven't heard anything going on. And Tony didn't answer his phone. And I call over there. It was about 7 in the morning there. What the fuck do you want? I'm saying, what the fuck do I want? What do you mean by what the fuck do I want? I'm calling to see how Tony is. She hangs up. Did I do anything? No, it just goes to show you dysfunction in some families. It's easy to point a finger at somebody and say, you did this and that to the family. It's real easy to do that when you don't know the dynamics of the family. It wasn't until just this morning I decided to call again. And the phone was disconnected. He died. Did I get a word from the family over there to let me know? No, the same thing as my brother. I had to call my sister When my brother, when I didn't know my brother passed away. All right, we talked about that. I just wanted to get these facts straight out here. Let's see. In incel, involuntary celibate. That's what those two were. What are you talking about here? Maybe I'm missing some comments on here. That's what those two are. Wait, why am I not able to scroll? Okay. Auntie says, speaking of Popeye, and I'll include Nico too, have you ever heard of the term incel? That's what happens. That's what those two are, incels. Viking Son says, good looks always help. Anthony says, incel is involuntary celibate. Yeah, he would be. Mr. 40 says, Ricky is on live, blah, 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 blah. Who cares? Anyway, that's my story this morning. I got to get back to my girlfriend. She has a special little trip to do today in the Cebu area. I'm trying to think what else I wanted to cover, but a lot of people on YouTube, they say a lot of things about each other, but the fact is that, oh, by the way, did Barry have a show overnight that he took down? Because I didn't see anything on there. I figured he'd have something to say, but he don't realize that probably pretty soon his phone's going to be taken away, period. He ended his live stream and he deleted it? Why did he delete it? Well, tell me what he said, fill me in. He must have said some pretty shitty crap for him to delete it. Kind of a hit and run show that Barry does sometimes. What was he saying about the situation with Shaw and Barry? Don't leave me hanging. I'd like to hear it. Did Barry do a live stream overnight? Told you, I don't wait up for his shit. I go to bed when I go to bed. I don't schedule Barry into my life. If I see he has a show on, I'll listen to it. Probably not all of it, because I could only listen to so much. So much. And then I don't care. I get my evidence I need, and that's it. I'll put the phone near the other one, record it, and then just use it later. But I can't sit there and listen to this guy, no matter what evidence I'm looking at. I can't be in the same room. I'll just put one phone against the other and record the damn thing, and then I can listen to excerpts of it later on. Ricky's saying that he paid for Shaw's complaint against me. He actually admitted that. Yeah, he's a real asshole. Now, Ricky was never anybody you could ever trust. So there's some complicity in this now, huh? A little complicity. Barry coerced her into doing the complaint, and Ricky's the one that paid for it. How interesting is that? A lot of complicity here. Live and learn. I don't know what's wrong with that guy. I mean, there's a lot of things wrong with Ricky, but I can't make the list. It's probably too long of a list. Again, I'm not a specialist in mental health, so I could only go by what I hear and see. And from what I hear and see, he's definitely got some problems. AG says Barry said the same thing, that it was Ricky who paid for Shaw's complaint. Well, more likely Ricky than Brevis, because Brevis don't want to put no money out. Yeah, it's a bit more likely Ricky. Ricky goes on both sides of the fence. It don't matter. According to what Moody's in one day. No, that wouldn't surprise me at all. They probably used some of the donation money meant for Barry for that purpose.
So why did Ricky suddenly feel that he had to come on and admit that he had paid for Shaw's complaint? And that piece of shit would come around me at the store, S&R, and act like nothing happened. What a piece of shit. AJG says both sides of the fence in more ways than one. That's Ricky. Yeah. I told you, we got some sick personalities out there, man. You know who, I don't have to name names. You know exactly who they are. And what was Ricky's purpose? What I'd like to understand. What was Ricky's purpose to want to back Barry up in that way or back Shaw up? What was Ricky's purpose? What horrible personal things that me and Ricky have going against each other? Other than the fact that he was trying to do donations for Barry, which I didn't like, and I was very in opposition of him with that. What would lead Ricky to go pay for Shaw's complaint? Mr. 140. Ricky was sucking up the Brevis. Evidently, Ricky is cutting his Thailand trip short and going back to the Philippines on Thursday. Bipolar is my guess. I think you'd be right on that, Anthony. That would sound about appropriate. So in other words, Ricky's not scoring anywhere. Even pay for dates he can't even get. He leaves Philippines, go back to Thailand because he had no action in the Philippines. He goes to Thailand and he can't find any action. How is that even possible? He puts his wallet out there all the time. I don't understand it, that even the rented dates are not even wanting him anymore. That's incredible, man. That's incredible. And he goes back to the Philippines, back and forth. Philippines, Thailand, Thailand, Philippines. He's not scoring. Not all women want to be a rent-a-date, you know. That's the only way you can get women is to rent them. I mean, that's sad in itself. Yeah, I think you'd be right on the bipolar situation. I think you're right on target with that. I would think that you are. No doubt. And they say I have problems. Look at these people, man. Look what they do and say and everything. Look what they do and say. Are you fucking kidding me? I gotta feed these dogs. I know I gotta do that too. I'm gonna have to get off here in a couple of minutes here. I gotta call somebody. Okay, let's see. Hold on, guys. I gotta take care of the dogs. If you don't mind. Gotta take care of the dogs here. This is their last gravy packet, and they are gonna have to eat regular kibble without gravy. I got them so goddamn spoiled that ain't even funny. They are definitely spoiled, there's no question about that. What else could I give them with that? Hold on there, girls. And hold on there, guys. I'm Mr. Multitask. I'm not even sure I have breakfast this morning to eat or know what I want to eat. But they get their breakfast. And I tell you what, they're getting a little tiny bit of overweight going on here, and I gotta watch that. Okay, Junior, knock yourself out. There you go. Knock yourself out. Oops, I did it again. Well, at least you guys are getting a lot of entertainment out there. You got Ricky, you got Barry, you got all these creeps, Popeye. You got free entertainment going anyway, man. You don't have to pay for that. Pay for your internet, whatever, but plenty of entertainment out there, that's for sure. But you didn't ask my question. Did Barry do a show overnight? I didn't see anything on there. Did he do a show? Call it a show. Call it a live stream. But anyway, that's my take on family dynamics. And there's always some kind of family dynamics going on in people's lives. I'm not any different than anybody else. You live your life and don't worry about anybody else's. That's what you do. You live your life. Don't worry about your family. Did you do your job raising your children? Okay, fine. You did good. You can't force somebody to be in your life if they don't want to. When people have their own little psychology to deal with, you don't want to be part of that. You want to avoid the negativity is what you want to avoid. By all means and measures, you need to avoid the negativity to go on with your life. And where you lack on blood family, perhaps, you can always gain a new family. It could turn out to be a lot better than the family you had, or at least some members of your family. Life goes on. But I hope you enjoyed my uncle's story, because some of that information, a little bit of it, was new to me. That's a person who actually served. A person who actually served and did something. Saw action, was in the middle of action. That my uncle did. That he did. And that's a very privileged story to hear, because you were hearing firsthand, what happened. They don't talk much about the Aleutians in history, but there's a big thing going on there. And he was part of that. And that's firsthand, that's information from him, from a man that's over 100 years old. There's not many around from World War II anymore that have experienced battle or anything related to battle in the service, who actually served their country in the hardest way, to be in the middle of all this crap. My uncle did that. Popeye can't say that. All he recalls is Subic Bay. Him and his fucking Subic Bay. Well, if the Philippines was so great for him, why didn't he move back? And I heard some of his statements. Because he knows that there's too many people that dislike him, that it wouldn't be a comfortable place for him to live. All right, so Ricky admits to, I just want to get this straight. Ricky admits to the one that financed Shaw. It's good to know. Good to know. So why was he being a coward? Why did he delete his show? Because he's another fucking coward, that's why. Something to hide? Why even put on a show and talk about that then? Then he has to delete it. I could delete my shows because it's no big thing. The copycat's going to put them on, or Popeye's going to simulcast them and record them. It don't make a difference I keep a show on or not. Financed is a good word, so he financed it. Okay. Well, he had something to do with it. That's all I need to know. That's all I need to know. I'll deal with him in my own way. I'll deal with him in my own way. Okay, I got to make a phone call, guys. Thanks for hanging in there. Hope you enjoyed the little war story I shared with you. And of course, family dynamics.
No family is perfect. And if you think so, you grew up watching too many family shows where everything in that half hour, no matter what was going on with it, always ended with a great ending. That's fantasy, and it's not real life. It's not. Even the wealthiest families and movie stars and everything else, there's a lot of family dynamics going on with them too. Nobody is perfect, and nobody's impervious from this kind of stuff. It exists in families. Blood or no blood. Families either get along with each other or they don't. They either have problems with each other or they don't. That's a little history from my uncle, a little history about family dynamics. And I appreciate you listening. Hope you learned something on this today. HAG. And if anyone believes for a second that Barry didn't give the okay for Ricky's paying for Shaw, bullshit complaint, you're fooling yourself. You're absolutely right. Barry had everything to do with it. He denies it emphatically, but he had everything to do with it. And that's what we need to prove. That she was indeed coerced into this. No, I do actually have some things to do today. I don't have any reason. I did a pretty long show today, an hour and a half. I think that's quite a dose for you guys of me and my time. Right now, all I want to think about is what I want to make for breakfast. But thanks for sharing some of that with me, too. So Ricky admits that he financed her. But I'd like to know one thing. Help me out with this. Why was Ricky financing her? I mean, he obviously doesn't like Barry. He never did. He used him. He made a lot of money in his pocket off of Barry. But why would Ricky go as far as financing Shaw for this? That's what I want to know before I go here. What is your theory on this? What is this deep, dark problem that Ricky has with me? Because I didn't take his bullshit? I was so happy when I ran into him in SNR. And you've seen the video. I told him, I said, I'm here, I'm right now. You want to do something, do it. I said, you're talking a lot of shit about me. Ah, ha, ha, ha. He just joked around and shit. I said it was on camera. And if those that follow me, as much as some do, very attentively, you would have seen that video in SNR. He wants to stick it up to me. All right, the question is why? That's why. What is his deep, dark problem with me? That's what I want to know. I know he wants to stick it up to me, but the question is why? Because I called him out for what he is? That the only way you can get a fucking woman is to rent one? Well, is it true or is it not? That's what he does, and he laughs about it. Did I say something that wasn't true? No. Everything I said was true. He rents women to have dates. He can't get a woman on his own that would ever want to be with him. Did I say something that was wrongful information in regards to that? I don't think so. I don't think so. So he wants to stick it up to me. No, it's a deep, dark question. I mean, I did him favors in the past when I signed the affidavit, go after Fazio. Oh, he was friendly. He needed me then, didn't he? But that's what Ricky does. He uses people. He'll be friendly with you, come over, have breakfast with you, buttering you up so that you write up this affidavit. Oh, yeah. He gets what he wants, and then he'll trash you later on. That's what he does. An exemplary person. He's such a wonderful human. But like I said, he doesn't have long to live. His lifestyle right now is
you know, carrying some nitroglycerin and jumping up and down. I mean, it's like he's on his way out, just like Fazio is. He'll never be a problem again. It's just a matter of time. It's not if, it's actually when. The big difference. It's not if, it's when. And he won't be around anymore. Be another low class, low life that bites the dust. And that's a reward in itself to me. No, you can't trust Ricky. Nobody could trust Ricky. But it's amazing. He financed Shaw for this. How interesting. Is he continuing to finance her right now? Or what is he doing? Sometimes you know more stuff than I do. I don't know everything. I suspected that he was behind that. Yeah, he didn't have to tell me. I suspected he was behind that because Brevis, Brevis don't put no money out for nobody. He don't really put any money out historically. He's a cheap ass. But he's a Bitcoin millionaire, supposedly. But he's a cheap ass. Ricky figures, well, I got this, he claims to be disposable income, you know. So he figured he could do that. This is the life he's living. He's around 60 years old or so. What is he now? And that's the life he's living. What a pissed life he has. What a waste of life. It's just a short time ago, he's in the Philippines and he went to Thailand and now he's running back again. It's getting to a point where, and what's going on with his face anyway, man? Did you see his face? The skin on his face all flared up and acne or lumps and stuff. You could tell that his health is going south, man. And look what he eats. But there's something going on with his face. Does he bathe? I don't even know if he bathes. But did you see his face in the last few shows that he was on? He has something going on with his face. Lesions or some crap on his face. I took notice of that right away. It's happening. Believe me, it's happening when I tell you. It's happening with him. It's not if, it's just when. And then another piece of shit will bite the dust. I know Ricky's probably listening. You know, Ricky, you are a piece of shit. You really are. And again, Nico, you're a piece of shit. Can't believe what age Nico is. And he's like a little immature child. Well, my mommy's still alive. Yours is dead. We talk about my dead members of my family. Of course these creeps are not going to get a woman. Who the fuck would want Nico anyway for a serious relationship? Who the fuck would want him? Look at him. Who would want him? Same as Ricky. They're going to have to buy their dates or else they wouldn't have any dates at all. And Nico hasn't been doing good in that department. At least Ricky gets together with a chick every now and then. Of course, he has to pay for it, but if you have to, only way to get a woman is to pay for that night, that's pretty sad. All these people that are chasing their tails. Steve Montelli, known for chasing his tail, going back and forth, not knowing what the fuck he's doing and where he's going to go. Ricky, the same damn thing. Nico, the same damn thing. Except he's kind of kinky. He's kind of in love with his grass. Which, by the way, he didn't do a very good job, but his grass looks like it's dead. How much money did he spend on fertilizer and shit for his grass? It's funny than shit, man. All right, man. I gotta go. Bye, Robert. Hello. That's funny. I got a thumbs up, but okay, here we are. Okay. As short and sweet as I can. Now I understand who's this so-called bad relationship between Barry and Ricky is all a farce. Barry instituted this complaint with his girlfriend, but Ricky was involved with it. And despite Barry's seemingly bad current relationship with Ricky, I think that's a load of shit. They were both in on this, actually. It opens up a new chapter now. And I actually got his last video that somebody actually sent me, the one that he deleted, when he's admitting it was a short video. And he admitted that he financed Shaw for this complaint. I'm not buying the story that Barry's on the outs with Ricky, because why would he be? He financed Barry's girlfriend, Charisma Saram, who put in the complaint. And you think he's going to be upset with Ricky? I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it at all. New thoughts have come to my head. I'm not buying that shit at all. I think it's all an act. Because you see, when Barry gets in these moods seemingly with Ricky and says bad things about him, then he'll say, well, but I did appreciate him helping me. I mean, I don't have anything against the guy. But, well, yeah, the guy put out the money for a lawyer to write up a complaint against me is what he did. And he went over there with videos of mine. Ricky went over there with videos of mine to the immigration. He tried to find the most scathing videos that he could find. That's what he did. New chapter opens up here. So I sent this information over to my attorney via email attachment. So it's something else to look into. Ricky, all you're doing, I don't even know what you're doing. Because here's the thing with this. He doesn't like me, that's fine. But why does he want to hurt my girlfriend? Because she will inadvertently, or could possibly get hurt by this situation. But he doesn't give a fuck. These are people that don't have a fucking heart. And Barry said, well, you don't have a heart for me. Well, for good reason. There's no reason to have a heart for you. Call me a fucking child molester. Fuck you. But Ricky should not have got involved with that. Might be something different, Ricky, if I run into you in Cebu. It might be something entirely different that you don't expect from me. Knowing that you're behind this shit. Don't forget, Ricky, I got a lot of videos of yours. You think, what, Barry's the only one I keep videos of? I'll make immigration aware of you. Yeah, he certainly did, Viking son. Now I know it was Ricky that financed her. All right, I'm enlightened. No, it wasn't Brevis. I know that. Brevis is too cheap to do that. He's too petty. Being the big Bitcoin millionaire he claims he is, of course. Well, now that I know it was Ricky for sure, I'll work on that part. Oh, believe me, I will. I will. If Ricky's going to go down one way or the other, then what is he going to do with his life if he can't come into the Philippines? Going to hang around Vegas and pick up these free coupons on the ground like he does all the time? That was his life in Vegas. Pretty pathetic. Guy's out of his fucking mind, man. Clearly. No wonder him and Barry get along. Don't buy this story that Barry's on the outs with Ricky, because I don't buy it at all. Why would Barry be on the outs with Ricky? Richard Jarrett. Why would he be on the outs with Ricky? Think about this. If Ricky financed the lawyer for Barry's girlfriend's complaint. Think about it. Something smells rotten here. It's all an act. It's all an act. Don't buy Barry's story that he's upset with Ricky. He ain't upset with Ricky. He's happy for what Ricky did. Ricky should not have involved himself in this matter, but he is involved now. I'll make sure he's involved. He's involved now. Piece of shit. Yeah, keep on eating those meals. Remember I said it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, Ricky, you know? That's all it is. It's a matter of when. You'll get yours, Ricky, one way or the other. I'm sure you will. One way or the other. What a sick individual. Really sick. You should not have got involved with that, Mr. Jarrett. You should not have gotten involved with that. He always talks so nice about Gilda, but behind the scenes he's trying to destroy me, not thinking of the consequences to Gilda. This man truly doesn't have a heart. All he cares about is stuffing his fat face. That's all he gives a shit about. The guy blew up like a fucking balloon. He's got acne and all kinds of marks on his face. You look at his arms. He's got sun damage everywhere. I mean, just all the signs are there. Remember, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when with this guy. One way or the other, whether it's his health or anything else. Seriously. Legally, even. That's right, I'll make the immigration aware of this guy. They'll have an open eye on his passport. And by the way, By the way, Ricky, I keep your videos too. Oh, you think I don't? And now I got a few videos that ties you in with charisma. Did you hear the shit he was saying on his show? She's so messed up mentally. Of all the things that I supposedly did to her, how would I do that? What crap came out of his mouth? That she's all mentally messed up and she needs counseling. For what? For fucking what? If she's messed up, it probably has to do with a relationship with her boyfriend, not for me. What stress she's going through with her boyfriend and the case and everything else going on. Plans for marriage and they can't get married and she don't know where she stands in life with him. That will cause stress, but not from me. Certainly not from me. I did not threaten her. At all. And I don't see any proof on her affidavit that I did. She's all screwed up mentally because of me? Really? I could have that kind of effect, huh? Must be magical. Maybe I got superpowers that I don't know about. Never physically met the woman. Never called her a whore or a prostitute. Never did. They don't have any proof of that. Because I didn't do it. Not at all. Oh yeah, she's depressed. She's out with her friends having lunch and doing her normal everyday things. Dances, sings, does karaoke. That's the biggest crock of shit that she's mentally depressed. Pinky from Friday. Who the hell are you? Who the hell is that? 877 Keller and Keller? Call me. Oh, a fan. Am I supposed to know you? Pinky from Friday. Friday what? I got some strange people coming in on here. 877 Keller and Keller. What is that? What is Keller and Keller? My limited car warranty. Oh, okay. I don't even have a fucking car. Where do these people come from? My limited car warranty. That's a good one. Well, now that I know, Ricky, that opens up another can of worms, doesn't it? It does, and it will. What's the matter, Ricky? You couldn't get lucky in Philippines again, and you ran to Thailand. You couldn't get lucky there, not even by paying. So you had to come back to the Philippines? Damn. What a 5-star life you're living. Not. It must really suck to be you, is all I can say. To get involved in other people's affairs like this, that's another story. Ricky is guilty of everything. He set up the whole thing with Barry at TJIF's. He set up everything just to do a show, to get donations. I mean, what wouldn't Ricky do that we've seen and experienced so far? I wish he would have came at me in SNR. I really wish he would have. It wouldn't be a Fazio situation, I assure you of that. I told him right then and there, you got a problem with me. I'm standing in front of you right now. Oh, I just made a big joke about it. Oh, we went shopping. You don't know what's going on in my mind at that time. I was hoping he'd do something to have his ass back in jail again. It wouldn't be 4 days like he did with Fazio. Sorry, Ricky. Every dog has its day. Just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. I've got your videos too. I got a lot of them, in fact. Stay out of my fucking business. That's what I will initially tell you. It's a little bit too late for that, isn't it? You financed somebody to get even with me. To get even with me for what? Talks wonderful about my girlfriend. Well, who does he think he's going to hurt in the process? Just me? It's not just me. You're not thinking, Ricky. Or you're not capable. Don't worry. Time is catching up with you if nothing else does. Keep that in mind. Remember, it's not a matter of if, it's when. Oh, it's not a threat. I'm just saying your health condition is really, really bad. You'll go out like Fazio. Hopefully. I don't have to deal with you anymore. You're not a good man, Ricky, in any respect. Your involvement in other people's business has not gotten you very popular in the way you'd like to be popular, except to put on a psycho show and show people a little element of your, I don't know, you bipolar? I don't know what you are. Something's going on with you, but it ain't normal, I can tell you that. Yeah. All right, so we've established that Ricky was also behind this. And Barry, stop trying to put on an act that you're upset with Ricky. That's all bullshit. Ricky's probably still helping him out. The 2,000 that came from Brevis probably was given to Brevis by Ricky to give to Barry. Don't buy all this shit that there's friction between Barry and Ricky, or that there's friction between Ricky and Brevis. Don't buy into that. I don't. It's all a facade. So you're involved in this now, Ricky, huh? Okay, that's good to know. It's a good starting point. You're involved in this now. And I made sure my attorneys know of this too. You want to play hardball with me? I'll play hardball back. If I were you, I'd just go back home to the United States, Write out your will and everything you need to do. Because death is around the corner with you, man. You're not in good health. Get your affairs in order. Get them in order. Keep on eating the way you're eating, and it's a guarantee. It's an RSVP to your final resting place. No threats needed. Mother Nature is going to just do her thing. I was never more sure of anything in my life. People are crawling out of their spaces in here now. Okay, that's what I had to say. I'm waiting for my sweetie to come get a hold of me here, actually. She's going to be heading back from a early morning chore that she had to do today. Okay, got it down. Ricky was behind this financially. Got it. Thank you. Your time will come, Ricky. I can't say it's today or tomorrow or next week or whatever. Your time will come. Your involvement, it was really unnecessary and unwarranted. It was none of your concern. It was none of your business. What side of the fence are you on with Barry? You take a shitload of his money that was meant for donations and buy your girlfriend a fucking expensive phone. I could understand why Barry's unhappy with that. But beyond that, I'm sure he really appreciates that you financed his girlfriend to put that complaint against me. At least I know now. Knowledge can be power. All right, Ricky. I definitely know where you stand with me now. Noted. It's noted. It's noted. Oh, I'm loaded up here. Okay. Here we go. It said I'm on live here, so I guess I'm on live. Oh, I'm not going to be on here long, man. I got to eat dinner. Nah, the boy said he didn't want to talk about me, but there he goes again. Couldn't help himself. That's really all I got to say. Except for the Dirteen A. He's got big plans, Dirteen A, and he got it all figured out. This will be the shortest show I ever did. He tried not talking about me, so it didn't work very well, though. How is everybody? All it takes is somebody to mention my name, and it gives him like a poetic license to talk about me. No matter what he says, that's not worth his time to talk about me. He goes right into style again and starts talking about me. I didn't talk about him this morning, man. This remote falling down all the time. I was talking about my uncle's career in the, wasn't I? My uncle's career in the army was really good material and some other stuff. I mean, real topic matter, real topic matter. But I wasn't talking about him this morning on my show. I think I put a short out about Ricky, so that he was definitely involved with all this crap that was going on. But no, I wasn't concentrating on Bobo. I smell Kit's chicken katsu. That's what I smell. I smell chicken katsu. That's what I smell. And my sweetie got home. She had an interesting day today. No need going into that. I don't talk about everything. I smell that. She must have it in the air fryer. Num 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 num. Num 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 num. Well, she didn't go S&R shop, She didn't have a lot of time. There's a conglomeration of things she had to do besides her mom's birthday and something else, but never stopped. We didn't bring the cooler. Didn't bring the cooler. So, yeah. I was about to go buy another one just because she didn't bring that. How many coolers do I need? Oh, what a breeze out here. It's amazing. Oh, jeez. Look at that. We had a bit of rain today on and off, that's for sure, from early this morning. And look at that wind blowing. Very cool. Very cool. 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 I don't want to get political, but Trump's been in office for like 33 days or something, and a lot of people are getting really pissed off at him. Look, I knew this is just a start. I know what's going to happen. Whoa! Look at this wind going on here, man. Yeah, it's lovely. Nice and cool. I like it. If it could be like this every day, I'd love it even more. Like the tropic line between how much I want and humidity, but hey, this is the Philippines. What do you expect? I don't think there's going to be that drastic climate changes in my lifetime. I'm getting up there in the age, so whatever happens after I'm gone and dead, is whatever happens to this world. Wouldn't give a shit, and I wouldn't be in a position to give a shit anyway. And see, a lot of people getting pissed. His popularity has gone down a couple of points. That's actually a couple of points. And people are not appreciating Elon Musk playing a role in the White House. They're beginning to ask the question, who's president, Elon or Trump? Yeah, that's what's going on. Other countries are getting pissed off at Trump, trying to throw his weight around, thinking he could buy Canada. Yeah, they're laughing at him. They're just laughing at him. Money can't buy everything, although some people think it could. Yeah. Anyway, I didn't want to come on very long. I'm actually going to be eating pretty soon. My timing is pretty bad. So he wasn't going to talk about me. Well, I didn't do a good job of that. Bad boy, Barry. Bad boy. You can't help it, man. And all these plans, 13A and all that shit. You're not even married, man. He said on his show the other day, or yesterday, he is always slipping. And he said something about, kind of slipped, I don't know. I'll get her over here back in America when I'm there. He's so sure of it. He's going back real soon, you know. She should just come out to see me on a tourist visa. Well, wait a minute. Caught another lie there. You know, you don't need a tourist. She doesn't have to really come out on a tourist visa to be with you if you're married. So that was all bullshit. But then again, what isn't? Okay. Oh, I was just lying. I was just lying. Yes, we believe you about lying about stuff. I was lying saying that I beat up my wife. Well, why would anybody say that, first of all? Why would anybody... And he said that. He was on a live stream, and everybody heard this years ago. Everybody, and I know people have copies of it. I probably have one somewhere, actually. Two things, actually, before I get off here. Two things. Let's discuss that and one other thing. Yeah. Now, see, I just say these things to get a reaction from people. No, you don't. You slip and fall all the time. He admits he's a liar. Okay, hey, bravo for that. You're coming a long way to admit you're a liar. Congratulations. Maybe there's hope. Now there's no hope for you. Forget it. He catches himself with so many lies. I catch him in lies anyway. I don't know about you, but I do. I'll just have to come over when I get back home soon. And she come over on a tourist visa. Well, if you're married, Jehoshaphat, you won't have to really have her come over on a tourist visa. Caught you again. Caught you again. What are you going to say to that? Don't believe this adversity stuff with him and Ricky. Don't buy it. Don't buy it. They're buddies behind the scenes. He's the one that got Ricky to pay for Shaw's complaint. It's a triangle going on. Ricky, Shaw, and Barry. The triangle. Oh, yeah. Hey, we're around the corner from that court case there, Barry. I think it's in the first week of March. And whether or not my status is, it ain't going to mean a goddamn thing if I don't have my visa renewed. And who said it ain't already? But nevertheless, it don't mean a goddamn thing in court, because I asked him, I said, what if? What if? That was about 2 weeks ago. He said it doesn't apply in a courtroom. They're not going to come in there and arrest me and say, you're an overstayer. No, or whatever, combination. Sorry about that, but that's not going to work. Anyway, I didn't plan to stay on here forever. If he's still jabber jabbing on his show, go and listen to his show. I'm not. I'm going to eat dinner. I can't listen to him. But I gave him an excuse to talk about me now. But that didn't stop him anyway, though. I don't want to talk about that guy, but the minute somebody mentions my name or something comes up, he's blabbing his mouth about me again. You fucked up. It's your bad. But now he's very happy that I mentioned him at all on this broadcast, because now he has a license to talk about me. Watch. Watch. Well, he's already talking about me, so it don't matter either way. All right, enough of this shit. I gotta eat. This'll be the quickest show I've done in a long time. Key words before I get paid again. My girlfriend supports me, and I usually run out of money by the end of the month until I get paid again. So another lie, an admittance that he is getting his Social Security. Shortest show I've done in a long time.